Though we might perceive discussions of mental health as being something that has arisen with the era of wokeness and essentially something that only really occurs in the 20th and 21st century, discussions of madness have been around since ancient times. Of course, Roman emperors are famous for being notoriously crazy, and many philosophers discuss this and or call them out on it. In fact, some philosophers even write letters to their friends recommending how they manage their own craziness. So these discussions are not new to us, and looking into this ancient perspective can let us have some perspective on the modern perspective. Lucretius argues in the Tusculan Disputations basically that reason is the governance of passion, and that if passion gets control of your life, then you're going to be in very big trouble. And the only way to avoid that is through reason. You have to harness your passions through reason. But then what if someone is prone to fits of madness? Does that make that person inherently mad, or does it make them a wise person who simply stumbled? Here we have Lucretius himself, obviously under a lot of pressure. There's an evil government out to get him, and he does not know what he's going to do about that new book he's writing. He knows that in 1,000 years people are going to have to translate it, and he really wants to make it as confusing as possible, both for philosophical reasons and for translation purposes. His friends around him are telling him his book's not good enough, and just in general, he's under a lot of pressure. So what is he going to do? Imagine if in a moment of anger he snaps. Does that make him crazy? Does that make him a wrathful person? No, of course not. It makes him a normal guy with a normal response to stress. Take, for example, this poor student who will go unnamed. This girl is going off on a rant that nobody asked about and nobody cares about. It seems in a moment of madness that she simply snapped and started spouting off about something that isn't really relevant to anyone's daily lives. So who is this girl and why is she gone crazy? Well, she's a successful person. She's not under a lot of stress right now, and she's doing great things. She even has hobbies she's pursuing that help make her more well-rounded and less of a flat academic. But she's still under enough stress that she spouts off and rants about art forms that nobody has ever cared about and nobody ever wanted to know anything deeper about. So why is that? Is she really just going crazy, or is something actually going on in her environment that's causing her to go crazy? Some of the causes of madness are listed in Roman philosophy, and we'll call that etiology because we're being fancy and medical today. But look at this. For number one, we have poison. Lots of people were subjected to lots of different neurotoxins and poisons in the Roman world. They were often infected with potions or quote-unquote love potions that contained all manner of chemicals that we have no idea what they were doing to the brain. But poison is very bad, and it was a very prevalent thing in Roman society. Number two is not going outside. This is where Virgil comes in, and he says, go pet a sheep, as he should. We should all go pet a sheep sometimes, just to remind ourselves that we're grounded in this physical world and that we're not floating away in the craziness of our minds. Being a disappointment is always a good one. Essentially, this point just refers to the fact that people around us will influence how we feel about ourselves, and we don't want bad company to corrupt our good morals. The next point I'm calling the golden mean. Basically, that just means that you've stopped balancing the things in your life correctly, and you've let one side of the scale get out of control, and the other side of the scale has flung up into the heavens and caused your brain to go a little bit whack. There are also unconscious motivations that pervade our everyday lives. Unconscious motivations can be things such as a lurking fear of disappointing the people around us, a lurking fear of failure, imposter syndrome, all those kinds of things can be lurking in the back of our mind and causing us unnecessary stress. And the last one we have here is ataraxia, which is basically just the fear of dying. Death is coming for us all. But some of us are more aware of that fact than others, and that can really be an issue in our everyday lives. So how do we help this? First, your physical life has got to be healthy. You got to try to go outside and get some sunshine. Try to eat a little healthier than you did yesterday. And just try to keep yourself grounded in a physical reality in a healthy way. You have to start at the bottom of the hierarchy of needs and work your way up to the top. You can't just jump right in. You have to make sure you're caring for yourself first. Second thing you need to do is make sure that work and play and rest are all getting equal time in your mind. And that doesn't mean equal calendar time, it just means equal emotional time. That you're balancing these things in such a way that your body and mind are coping well. After you've worked through these things to the extent that you can, you should go to therapy and let your therapist help you conscientize your unconscious motivations. This can be so healing and can expose things about yourself that you didn't even know were in there. And it can take these things and remove so much pressure from your life just by letting you know what it is that you're battling against. And finally, and semi-related to the whole unconscious motivations thing, if you're really suffering from a fear of death that's crippling enough that you're thinking about it every single day, first of all, go to therapy. But second of all, just remember that life is short, which is probably not helpful in this scenario, but that life is short, and being worried about death is going to make your life so much worse. And it's better to lead a good short life than a bad short life. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.